Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Today I would like to show you the beautiful demonstration of nice Barnyard Morning Glory. And this Morning Glory's flower, it's so lovely and sweet, so it's blue one. I choose the blue color, light and dark for that. I have white color, yellow for the center of flower, green for leaves, and then the brown. Which I mix brown and white for the barnyard, the wood that it's like a fence on background of my painting. So let's start. I'm going to choose the square shape of canvas. It's not exactly canvas, it's a wood panel. So it's 8 by 8 inches. With any kind of surface you're interested, welcome to work on it. So I have brush, bigger brush for hold the background. And I have palette knife to mix the paint. So I'm going to take my white color, choose the white, because the background is not much small, it's big, so I bring amount of white color. I take the brown, so make it creamy color for the fence on the background. So with a limited palette, we can make a beautiful painting. So this is a creamy color, and for some part to make the shape of wood, we can use the pure white color and we can use the pure brown color. So I can put this palette knife here to use all the paint that I already have. So take the flat brush, take the colors, the paint, heavy paint, and for this specific one, because of I would like to shape the fence, I'm going to add my brush stroke from top to bottom. So it's just like that. Brush stroke is like top to bottom. And try to take heavy paint, because heavy paint give us a chance to not draw so fast. And our surface is still wet, so we can bring another color to play the shape of wood as well. Because of that, I recommend always to use really heavy paint and heavy texture, which is so lovely. It's not draw so fast. And at the same time, you can take the pure white color, bring it on top, let it move and blend into this creamy color, and we can make the shape of nice texture for the wood. Especially we can do with the pure brown as well, this technique. So at the same time, because the surface of creamy color is still wet, with the same brush, take the brown. The reason I'm going to the wet surface, because I don't want to have a sharp and edges color happen. I want that blend very well like that, to make the background of wood. And I happen bring somewhere like this, somewhere like those parts, so which is so lovely and cool. Like that. And then back to the creamy color to move on for the rest. I don't want to let it line and edges create in between each part. Then we clean the brush very well by just a napkin. And I'm going to use separation line to separate each part of the fence with a pure brown. And I take my brush with the tip of brush really straight to the canvas and try to separate it 1, 2, 3 part, or yeah, that's okay to have separation line like that. I know it's wet, still it's okay. So some part of the line is dark, some part is lighter, and that's perfect if I can have something like that. And even a little bit thickness I can give to my line. Just draw straight line like that. Again, clean it because I want to have a narrow line, and then take another part of the brown, then move on from the top to the bottom, and then I am not using just a ruler like a straight line. That's the nature, that's the wood. It's okay to have a little move different way. And I take heavy paint, so I already make a texture on top. And then this part. So with the 3 line, I separate my fence to the 4 different parts. And after that, I try to let it dry completely for the next part. But before let it dry, we can shape something like with the tip of brush. Shape more look like the wood. You see we have some texture like that. So it's wet, a little bit sticky. It's okay, even if it's sticky, not so much bad. We can still work on it and shape a little bit look like a wood, texture of wood, a little bumpy details, just more line, heavy texture. Just another line beside that, like a zigzaggy or broken line. Even clean the brush very well and take the pure white color. Sometimes it's nice to bring some brighter color around it and make it more interesting. So with more details, we can make our fence more interesting. Just use the pure and heavy paint. Try to add on top. Now it's time to let it completely dry. Okay, now everything is dry completely, and when I touch the surface, it's completely dry and clear. So we can move on to place the Morning Glories flower on top, and I imagine 3 big one I want to have on the right side of the surface of this fence, and then cover with the nice leaves around. So I'm going to start with dark blue color first. Shape the flower. I start from the top part and shape. Imagine it's look like a little circular or oval shape, it depends, and just draw the shape of whole. The petals is connect together, so you can just move your brush very well. Move it like that, shape it like this completely with this blue color, which is dark. It's a cobalt blue, and it depends. We can bring with nice and like too many C-curve brush stroke, bring it toward the center and shape this flower so lovely. Because the center is white and yellow, so I'm not going to cover whole the part with blue color. I just try to bring each brush stroke toward the center, and even this part is just facing like that. So I cover just a line like this. The center should be inside, and then move on with lighter blue. Try to bring it more thicker as a line to the center. And I take really heavy paint because I'm interested to have a texture on top. Because of that, I'm going to use heavy paint. I'll let it move like this. Even I can use the tip of brush to make the line on top. Separation line, even this way. Move a little bit darker blue. Always use a napkin to clean the brush. I recommend not to use the water in between the painting because I'm going to make a heavy texture. Because of that, I don't want to use water and watery brush because my acrylic paint more look like watercolor if you use a lots of water in your brush. And we would like to make a heavy texture. Because of that, take heavy paint and try to make the brush stroke and leave the paint on canvas or wood. So like that, then clean the brush with napkin and then move on with the pure white color. From center, a little move to the light blue this time. With shorter brush stroke, sometimes they blend together, that's well. This is the whole shape of flower. And then with pointy part of the brush, we can bring it a little bit up with the white color and shape it more. Like that. That's great. So we finished with the flower and now we can add the pure yellow color heavy paint on the center. And it's wet. I'm not waiting for it get dry because I use heavy paint. Just can bring on the center. Help this heavy paint set on top. You don't have to let it dry and then add another color on top. If you want to do at the same time, you can, but you need to use really heavy paint. So this is one Morning Glories flower. Now I can place the other one. Again, back to the blue color, dark blue. Try to shape here, hold the shape of morning flowers, Morning Glories. Just go with whole shape modeling to have an idea where should be placed the flower. And this is the bigger one I would like to show. So make it a little fat. And then move on to the center to add the brush stroke like this, like a C curve. Toward the center, and then from the bottom part move to the center as well. Try to use really heavy paint to see all this texture on top. Leave the texture on top of the painting with shorter brush stroke. And then with the lighter blue, I'm going back to make more details around. Again, short brush stroke. Now I would like to place some smaller one, like a blossom, spread everywhere. Start with darker blue first. Shape it toward down. So I place all these flowers, the small one with the darker blue, close to each other, which is interesting. And even some small one here. And some here. And then move on with the blue, lighter blue. Cover more inside with this lighter blue. And then clean the brush with just a pure white color, a little bit move inside. And I know because it's wet they blend together, so I try to add a little bit longer to shape it. This flower more look like the real one, like that, like this. Even some more here we can add too, like here. And then blue with the white. I really love textures, so I try my best always to have this texture be visible on my painting. So I leave thick paint on top. Now I would like to shape the leaves around and stem. So I take the pure green color first. I just draw the shape of Morning Glories flower. It's look like a heart on top and then come like this. So I cover all this with just a pure green color, but we can make on top with more details by light and dark color. So first of all, I go move on with the pure green, shape it like that, place it, the leaves everywhere that I want. I would like to have one more here too. It's like a heart on top, bring it down. Here as well a little bit to be visible. And move on one here. It's more easy to cover the surface with the leaves and then place the stem on top. Even for the leaves I try to make a texture, so heavy paint, take some, try to place each part of the leaf so thick, and some of them it's go to the other side of the canvas, so all of them is not visible, so it's okay. Another leaf on top. That's a lovely flower and leaves. Another is placed here smaller. We can play with the size of the leaves and make it smaller or bigger. This is whole shape of each leaves with one value. And now after that we can make some darker tone and some lighter tone on top and bring it. Now I just want to make the shape of a stem. Again, back to the pure green color so far. And with the tip of brush, take some paint, too straight toward the canvas and draw the line. It can help us to draw a really narrow line. We can use a tip of flat brush to do that. And the flat brush should be really liney, or we can use pointy and round brush. Both are okay. So it depends which one is more comfortable for you. So just go with flat brush and try to draw a line randomly connected toward each flower, each leaves, and draw the stem. For each flower, it's a little bit like a triangle shape. This part is a little thicker, triangle shape, and I try to connect it toward the bottom part. I'm not going to add just a straight line as a stem. It's just like nice curvy. Nature is nice and curve. I go just with one green color so far, and then bring some darker tone and lighter tone later on top. Just a pure green so far. Any green should be work. This is sap green, but hooker green is fine. Viridian, I'm not sure, Viridian green is a little bit blue inside. I recommend to have warm green color. And even this one I connected here. For the other I connected toward that. And make it busy with some leaf and stem. Okay, and even for this one I don't want to leave without any stem. I just connect it like that. So that's so cool. I have everything. Now I want to make some light and dark tone. So for making the light tone, I take a little yellow, bring it here, white color, mix together very well, and I have green, mix with this mixture. The reason I just go with yellow and white, because we know that white make all the colors lighter, but for the green give us cool light color. I want to have a little warmness in the green, so I mix white with yellow, and yellow give us a warm and nice color of light green. And then clean the palette knife. For the dark color I take green color. I have the brown color. We can mix them together and make the dark color tone as green. You can mix the green by black too, both are okay, but we already have brown in our palette, so I'm going to use the brown. Now, light and dark green color, we can use it on stem and on the leaves. So, back to this brush, I take the darker tone first, randomly try to cover some part with the really darker color. But I try my best not to make it thick. Just somewhere you can add a little bit dark color. For stem I prefer to go with flat brush, but for the rest I can go with another brush. Take a little lighter tone as well. For some part, just touch with lighter tone. It's interesting to have different tone in our painting. And even draw this small line. That's so cool to have different value, like light and dark in the painting. Give us a nice feeling. And make it busy with tone and value. Okay, I think it's okay. Then I am going to use smaller brush to make light and dark on the leaves. So start with darker tone, add a tone on the center as a dark color, a little bit of thickness I can bring around, even shape it like that. For each leaf I try to make it a little details more on top, and even make it more heavy with some texture, because I use heavy paint, which is interesting. And then at the same time I take lighter color, bring some more details with lighter tone as well. But the surface is dry, they are not mixing with the pure green. So if you like to have some more blending, you can bring a little bit more pure green as well at the same time when you add light and dark. Now everything is finished. We finished with flowers, leaves and everything. But if we want to make a little bit more heavy texture on top for the flowers, same as the one that we already have on leaves, I after it gets dry, I'm going back to the two blue color I already have. Try to make a little bit heavy texture on top. So leave heavy paint like that on your canvas. And it's already make a little thickness on the edge, which is so cool and lovely. After it gets dry, you can feel this heavy texture on top. Not everywhere. You can go with somewhere if you like, not make it busy a lot. Just somewhere here as well. So we have two different techniques in the painting. You can do it so flat, blend very well, nicely and smoothly together, or you can use heavy texture like a palette knife painting and make it so lovely thickness on top and make it more touchable and interesting. Both is fine, it depends, and I love both technique for the painting. So you can follow to add more heavy paint on top if you like.